The authority of the British government has just imploded. It happened not with a bang, but with the quiet, chilling release of a poll. A set of numbers that confirms the terrifying truth we have all felt in our bones for months. The man in number 10, Downing Street, is a ghost. A phantom prime minister, propped up by a machine that despises him, leading a country that no longer believes a word he says. The official story, dutifully parroted by the client journalists in the lobby, is of a minor political spat. A little turbulence. Do not believe them. The truth is a catastrophic engine failure at 30,000 feet. And we are all strapped into our seats. The latest polls are not just data. They are a death sentence for Keir Starmer's leadership. Only a third of his own voters, the people who put him where he is, think he should lead them at the next election. A staggering 45% want him gone before that day even comes. Let that sink in. The man with his finger on the button of state, the man making decisions that affect your family, your savings, your future, has lost the confidence of nearly half of his own side. He is a general whose own army is praying for his defeat. So the question is no longer if the government will fall apart in a hail of recriminations and backstabbing. The question is, when it does, how much of Britain will it take down with it? The mainstream media are already in full damage control. They are working overtime tonight. You'll hear the words wobble, midterm blues, a spot of bother. They will tell you this is normal. They will tell you to look away. They are treating you like a child, to be patted on the head and told the monsters aren't real. But the monsters are real. And they are running the country. This is not a wobble. It is the political equivalent of a cardiac arrest, broadcast in slow motion. What we are witnessing is not an accident. It is the final, decaying stage of a project that has been decades in the making. The hollowing out of our democracy, the surrender of our sovereignty, the managed decline of our nation. Sir Keir Starmer stands at a podium, his eyes dead, his voice a monotone, reading from a pre-approved script. He talks about the cost of living. He claims to be utterly focused. This is the oldest, most cynical trick in the Book of the Damned. It is a conjurer's trick. Look over here, at this shiny, meaningless gesture, while we pick your pocket. Look at the freeze on prescription charges, while we gut your pension. Because while he distracts you with these pathetic crumbs, his party is at war. A bitter, brutal civil war fought in the shadows of Westminster's corridors. Knives are being sharpened. Secret dinners are being held. Betrayals are being plotted by men who smile to his face. And you, the British public, are nothing but collateral damage in their squalid power games. They aren't fighting for Britain. They are fighting over the spoils of a nation they have already sold to the highest bidder. Insiders paint a picture of total paralysis. Of a prime minister who is a prisoner in his own office, terrified of his own cabinet, unable to make a decision without consulting a focus group. They claim the real power no longer resides in number 10. It resides in the hands of the permanent state. The faceless bureaucrats, the globalist think tanks in Davos and Brussels, the activist lawyers using the ECHR to overrule our laws. Starmer, they say, was always just a placeholder. A useful idiot. A bland, unthreatening suit to front the Great Reset agenda. His purpose was to sedate the public, to numb us into accepting a poorer, weaker, more compliant future. But the sedation is wearing off. And the patient is beginning to stir. And this is where the ugly truth becomes truly unforgivable. This is where the betrayal cuts deepest. Behold the two-tier system, the brutal reality of Starmer's Britain, laid bare. On one side, you have the Westminster elite. The political class. Keir Starmer, the former director of public prosecutions, a man who has never had a real job outside the state-funded bubble, lecturing you on getting on in life. Health Secretary Wes Streeting. A career politician since he left university, a man who has never built a business or met a payroll, allegedly plotting his own ascent to power while the NHS he is supposed to be fixing disintegrates. Chancellor Rachel Reeves, drawing up her budget, not to unleash Britain's potential, but to find new ways to tax it. New levies, new charges, like the hotel tax for London, designed to crush small guest houses and family-run B&Bs, all to fill the bottomless coffers of Sadiq Khan. They talk of a Labour values, but their only value is power. Their only Labour is scheming. They inhabit a world of chauffeur-driven cars, subsidized bars, and bulletproof, gold-plated pensions, utterly insulated from the consequences of their own catastrophic decisions. And on the other side of that chasm? There is you. There is the self-employed plumber in Dudley, whose fuel and materials costs have gone through the roof, who now works 70 hours a week just to stand still. He sees his life's work being eroded, day by day, by policies made by people who despise him. There is the pensioner in a terraced house in Stoke, turning the heating on for just 1 hour a day, wrapped in blankets, because she fears the brown envelope with the bill more than the icy grip of winter. There is the former Royal Marine from Hull, a man who faced down enemies of this country, now humiliated by a system that treats him like a scrounger. He watches Starmer on television talking about feeling secure, and he laughs a bitter, hollow laugh. And what is Starmer's grand solution to all this pain? This anxiety? This national despair? He might freeze a prescription charge. A charge of £9.90. It is an act of such staggering cynicism, such profound contempt for the intelligence of the British people, that it should be a resigning matter in itself. It is throwing a pebble to a drowning man. It is spitting in the face of a nation and calling it rain. This isn't about economics anymore. It's about a war on the spirit of the British people, waged by a political class that sees our resilience not as a virtue, but as a problem to be managed. In this national drama, the villain is no longer hiding. He is standing in plain sight, blinking in the glare of the headlights. Keir Starmer is the embodiment of the decay. A man so utterly devoid of conviction that he has taken every side of every issue. He is the hollow man. The focus-grouped fraud. The ultimate empty suit. He is a political chameleon, changing his colors not to adapt, but to conceal the fact that he has no color of his own. He promised a new kind of politics, a return to integrity. Instead, he has delivered the oldest kind of all lies, incompetence, and a soul-crushing betrayal of the people who trusted him. He has no authority. No charisma. No vision. He is a political vacuum, a black hole of leadership, and his own party knows it. That poll is not just a warning shot, it is a vote of no confidence from the very people who are supposed to be his most loyal foot soldiers. When nearly half your army wants a new general before the battle has even begun, you have already lost the war. He is a dead man walking, haunting the corridors of power. And who is circling the carcass? The vultures of his own front bench. The so-called loyal colleagues who smell blood in the water. Weststreeting is the name you hear whispered most, but don't be fooled. Sources claim there are others. Shadowy figures from the party's past, and ambitious newcomers from its future, all maneuvering, all plotting, all waiting for the moment he finally stumbles. They see his weakness not as a national crisis, but as a personal opportunity. This is the modern Labour Party. A nest of vipers, obsessed with its own internal dramas while the country they are supposed to govern slides towards the abyss. But in this darkness, a light is beginning to flicker. A fire is being lit. The heroes of this story are not in Westminster. The heroes are you. They are the millions of ordinary Britons, including that 66% of Labour voters, who are seeing through the charade. They are the people in the pubs, the factories, the offices, the ones who refuse to swallow the lies anymore. And their voice, for so long ignored, is finding a champion. It is the voice of Nigel Farage. It is the growing, unstoppable movement behind Reform UK. They are the ones daring to say what everyone else is thinking, that the entire system is corrupt. That the two-party cartel is broken beyond repair. They are not just offering different policies, they are offering a different future. A future where the British people are the masters of their own house once more. They represent the rebellion. The Great Awakening. The moment the public finally looks the elite in the eye and says, enough. The time for sitting on the fence is over. The time for quiet, polite despair is gone. The battle lines are now drawn with terrifying clarity. You have to ask yourself a simple, brutal question. Do you believe a Prime Minister so weak, so despised, that even his own voters have abandoned him, has any moral right to command this great nation for one more day? Do you consent to being ruled by a man who is nothing more than a puppet for a decaying political machine, a human shield for the globalist agenda, a placeholder for our national decline? Or do you believe that Britain is better than this? That our history, our spirit, our people, are worth more than this managed decay? Do you believe we, the people, deserve leaders who fight for us, not for their own pathetic careers in the Westminster bubble? Do you believe it is time for a political reckoning, a peaceful revolution at the ballot box that sweeps this entire rotten, self-serving establishment into the dustbin of history where it belongs? The choice is yours to make. The future is unwritten. But it will be written by those who have the courage to